Mississippi State. So
Yeah. I don't see. I think it's career suicide. I mean, I I think it's if you're first of all you're going to take a massive hit, regardless. Let's just say they let go of Coleman Hutzler and landed on Jeff Collins, which would be like a grand slam. And let's say your floor needs to be Todd Grantham, who I'm still a little shaky, but he'd be a massive upgrade. But I don't know how Todd works in the modern era, so I got to see some things and hear some things. But whatever, he's done it. To me, I mean, like I wouldn't do that. It would be like me covering, me waking up for the next 3 months, Steve, and deciding to cover Kansas City Royals baseball every single day on this show, and thinking that I would keep the same listenership and revenue and advertising. Is the equivalent of keeping Coleman Hutzler. Would that make? Let me ask. Would that make sense to you if I told you I was going to do that this afternoon?
Absolutely not. And I think that's an interesting euphemism because of the fact you've got to give people what they want, right? And that doesn't mean letting them make all the decisions. I mean, we've got some people out there that think they should decide uniform combos and even call plays and things of that nature. Conduct a Twitter poll to decide who's going to be coaching.
Right.
I mean, that's.
But I'm not worried about any of that. This is a big boy deal,
Exactly. But if you just got up one day and said, you know what, I'm gonna, we've built this show on sports and we're gonna make it a cooking show. The chances are that you're not gonna have your advertisers renew. You may pick up some other ones, but you're probably gonna have to sell that condo. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the reality of that. And so when I think about Mississippi State football, when I think about season ticket renewals next year, and I think you and I touched on this off air, but it's the Sky Dog people that it impacts the most. Like there's some people, you guys that you mentioned that sit between the 30s and the sky boxes. They're never going to give up their priority points, right? They're going to come here and they're going to be around their friends, but the feeder program for future lower bowl season ticket holders is going to come from the Sky Deck. And when you think about that aspect of it, hey, I've enjoyed being a season ticket holder. There's a sense of pride with that, right? You feel like it's your stockholder
sure.
thing. I'm not just coming to a game once in a while. I'm a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
And then you say, you know what? Eventually, I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to get in the lower bowl, and well, if you're a first time season ticket holder this year, and you go 2-10, and you think maybe there's more of the same next year. Well, you're certainly not going to upgrade your tickets. You're certainly not going to go to your wife and say, hey, listen, I know we spent a couple $grand this year. I'm going to double down next year. And we're going to spend maybe $5,000 and, give a big donation to the Bulldog Club to improve our priority seating. Well, that's just not going to happen, And so when you do things like this, I think that's who it impacts the most, are those future season ticket holders that eventually become the lifeblood of your program.
All right, 15 seconds. Tyler Lockhart to Mississippi State or Ole Miss?
I expect him to stick with State. I think it'll be a fun 72 hours, but I think in the end he's with State.
Okay. And we have $100 dinner bet, right?
We do.
All right. Commodore Bob's or Restaurant Tyler or whatever on Coleman Hutzler staying or going.
Well, if you win, we're going to McDonald's. So.
All right, be good, buddy. See you, man. All right, genespage.com, 247 Sports. Steve says he believes Coleman Hutzler is staying. I don't believe it because I just don't think people are that crazy up there. But maybe I'm wrong. Let's discuss on the other side what Steve Robertson said. We've got an SEC Insider hit coming up next. Plus, it's National Bartenders Day, and I'm going to have fun with that. Oh, man. The text line's hot. Coming in hot on the Mac Hike Auto Group text line.
Yeah, you damn right.
Whew. Coleman Hutzler.
He walked out on that field and it was like football Jesus had hit.
That's what I was thinking, too.
He's the big woof woof in the dog.
Who's going to need to be that on campus?
He's the big woof woof in the dog.
Oh, man. You going to return everybody on the staff? Or let me ask you this. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're driven by Mac Hike Auto Group, dealerships all over the metro area, depending on what you want. Obviously, Mac Hike Ford. Also, an awesome partner on the show. Justin Waite is at Mac Hike Ford, but they all work together. And he's the vehicle acquisition manager. He'll buy your vehicle today. He will come to your house or your office. You don't have time. You don't want to fool with it. He'll appraise it, give you a price. He's mobile. Justin Waite at Mac Hike Ford will come to you, buy your vehicle. Or you can come to him at Mac Hike Ford, but he'll go to you and buy your vehicle. Justin Waite, Mac Hike Ford. Let me go through what Steve and I kind of recap this. That will be on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Apple Podcast and Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. That 9-minute hit with Steve will be on in 45 minutes or something.
There now.
It's there now.
How about it?
Okay. So he thinks Cole. I still don't believe. I just don't believe that many people want to put their career and job on the line.
Because that's what it is, right? I mean, that is in all reality what this is.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Selman and Jeff Levy want to roll the dice with Coleman Hutzler. Like that would be like me starting tomorrow, deciding that every day for 90 days, I'm going to talk Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. And that's it. We bring on an insider every day. We're talking about all the winter transactions, who's on the single A, double A, and triple A team for 90 days straight. How do you think that would work? Or if I just woke up tomorrow and said, you know what? I'm going to talk West Georgia football for 90 straight days and see how it works. That doesn't make sense. I'll say this, like Zach Selman and Jeff Levy don't have any chips. Life's about chips. They may at some point later. Dan Mullen had chips and fired Peter Sherman after 1 year.
Right.
He had been number one in the country at Mississippi State. Never happened. At Mississippi, never happened in the state of Mississippi. Never happened. He had been to the Orange Bowl, 2 or 3 Gator Bowls, a Music City Bowl. He had beat everybody in the conference, except Bama. And so Dan Mullen had chips, had equity, which is what you want in life. You want to add chip. You want to add a chip. You know, I'm building. I'm being successful. I have a reputation in the community of being a doer and a producer, and for my family, I add chips. So Dan Mullen had chips. He had already. Who knows how many players had already gone to the NFL? By the time he fired Peter Sherman after 1 year as a defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, Mullen had a starting quarterback in the NFL. Mississippi State had never had that. And then a bunch of all-pro guys. In, Fletcher Cox, Darius Slay, Chris Jones, those type guys.
Yeah, those are just your top tier.
Right. Pernell McPhee.
Yeah.
All right.
KJ.
Yeah, KJ Wright won a Super Bowl. Several of those guys I just rattled off did.
God.
Fletcher, Chris Jones has 3. So Lombardi trophies.
Yeah.
So these are things. Expansion. You did a massive expansion. It opened in 2014, and you did it before the skyrocketing construction prices. Ole Miss had to pull back their $300-something million renovation expansion of Vaught Hemingway because they knew they need to focus money on players. You did a total premium expansion that opened in 2014. I mean, layers of different premium stuff. More suites, 2 more club levels, all new concessions and restrooms, and renovated your club level. You actually have a club level that goes, the 100-yard length of the field, not width. Yeah, and then of course you have one that's in the end zone that goes the width of the field. You did all that because of the D&D guys. Well, I'd go G, D, and D. Greg, Dan, and Dak.
Yeah.
That'd be Greg Byrne. Yeah. Check. Made the biggest hire, best hire in the history of your school. Dan, turning out winning. And Dak, an NFL QB. And Dan fired Peter Sermon after 1 year. By the way, this isn't personal against Coleman Hutzler. I've only met him once. He seemed like a nice guy.
Sure.
Somebody you'd want to, hey, tonight, get back on the, back porch, back patio.
Right.
Throw some meat on the grill. Turn on some music. Open a Budweiser. And let the chicken smoke or the ribs. And talk about life.
Right.
And kids and dreams and stuff.
But right now, he is the meat on the grill.
But this is not, you've got to decide, before it's too late, if you can get this thing back.
Yeah.
It's not, Cole, this staff is not to blame for all of this, okay? Plus, they didn't hire themselves. But
sure.
But there have been a number of poor decisions made post Dan Mullen. There's a reason why y'all burned this program down. But and then went and got a hose, big fire hose of lighter fluid.
Yes.
And just unloaded another 300 or 400 gallons of lighter fluid on top of the ashes, and then lit it again. So his name could be Gabriel Smith. It doesn't matter to me.
Great.
Okay? He'll be highly compensated.
Oh,
he was promoted above what he should be. That's not his fault, but he was. He was y'all have all read it in high school or early college about the Peter Principle. You see it every day. You see it in business, private sector, public sector, coaching, whatever. But you need a dude who's got 3, 5, 7, 8 years of play calling experience under his belt as a DC.
That's at the minimum.
And you need a special teams coordinator that has that.
Could he?
Look, you can't lose at Southern Miss next year. Look, you need Levy to work. Do I need to say that? You need Jeff, because you don't need to keep going through coaches, but it's got to also, you can't go 2-10.
If you look at their schedule for next year, what do they jump off at you as? It's a 3-9 ball club.
Well, you can't go to Southern Miss if they land on somebody, because you're not that good, and you go down to Hattiesburg, and you shouldn't be going down there in the first place. That's not a shot at Southern Miss, but you shouldn't be going down to Southern Miss.
Right.
But you go down there, and if you trip up, if that thing gets weird, if you're still trying to figure things out, because you're going to totally redo your roster.
Right.
And then the next week you got Dilly coming in. Kenny Dillingham. Can you bring up the Dillingham pay players? Kenny Dillingham, for our listeners, is the head football coach for Arizona State. And he's a wild man. split all of his bonuses with his staff. How about that? It was a ton of money. And most time coaches don't do that. They don't see it kind of in the, private sector, but a lot of times in the private sector, corporate doesn't either. But there are businesses, especially those that probably aren't publicly owned, but I don't know, that, will spread bonuses and so on. He spread it all out. So Dilly comes in for the second game of the year against you in Arizona State. You can't go 0-2. I mean, guys, there's got to be a sense of urgency. You got to start winning some football games. This is it, period. Nobody on campus should sleep. You're not playing with your kids. You're not taking Sundays off. You can do that next June. This is Kenny Dillingham, Arizona's. This is funny as hell because they had an unbelievable year. He basically told his alums, step up.
Out there like I wore this shirt today, right, for the Sun Angel Collective for a purpose. Is if you had fun watching him play and make those plays, like it was there all night. It was there all night because it's a different day and age in college football. And if that was something that we want to continue to do, then what's that saying? Pay the man his money, right? Isn't that like a saying? Like, pay the man his money. Like, pay these guys what they deserve to be paid. Because right now, our team is underpaid. And we're doing more with guys who just got it out the mud. But eventually, you should get what you deserve. And our guys deserve more. And that's why I wore this.
He is crazy in a good way. They hit on a guy who gets it. I thought, pay the man his money. Love that.
He's a great college coach.
Yeah, I mean, I did see something on here. Okay, Kegs and Eggs. We used to have
Kramer.
Adam on.
Yeah.
He's a crazy man, too. Funny as hell. Yeah. And so here it is. Kenny Dillingham reportedly distributed his $200,000+ bonus amongst his support staff.
Wow.
So awesome.
That is awesome.
I can promise you, man. Another 5, 10K, 15K.
Oh, that goes
for the in-house. I mean, because they're in the Big 12, they're not in the SEC or the Big 10, with that kind of money.
Right.
Kegs and Eggs, our buddy, we need to have him on, make fun of the Big 10. And Ohio State losing to a walk-on who threw for 13 yards. But Kegs and Eggs commented on, tweeted that on this tweet that Kenny Dillingham is sharing his bonus with his in-house people. He said, this dude is perfect for college football. A bit of sideline psycho, a brilliant play caller, and an all-around fascinating person who seems to really care about the people around him.
Yeah.
That's rare in coaching. Maybe it's rare in life, but it's definitely rare in coaching because I've been in the buildings for so long, so many years. I mean, everybody is looking for their next gig. Everything's driven by paranoid. The pressure is so insane, especially in the SEC, right? And some other programs around the country. But I thought that was pretty damn good. Dilly. You two would party and get in trouble.
That yeah, that guy rules.
You'd be perfect for his. I don't know how you would work that many hours, but there's got to be. You would be perfect in some kind of role with Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State.
At AZ State, I can find a role.
I don't know what that would be. You need to run a lot of. They could be important, right, but you need to run a lot of errands off campus because no way you could stay in the building for. They're in the building for 12 plus hours a day, 13 plus hours a day. So I don't know what you would do. They're in the Big 12 championship.
That's incredible. They're supposed to win, 3 ball games this year?
Yeah.
I think Vegas literally had a 3.5, something like that, maybe 2.5.
I mean, Bartu looked at him and said, they're not any good. Mississippi State should go out there and win.
That's what it was. That's what it felt like.
Well, who was Nick Saban's featured player on game day? Scatabo,
as he should have been.
Yeah, the running back. He was like, I love that guy. He's what everything, of course, he's that's right up.
Oh, yeah.
Saban's
hard.
Right, yeah. That tugs on the heart strings for Saban.
I'm good, Bo Bow. I'm good, Bo Bow. I'm good, Bo Bow.
What now?
That little scout. I was just looking to see how he ended up with this year. I mean,
What is that, 1,300 yards?
Is he at
1,400.
Rushing, he's got 1,400.
Yeah. 1,400 with 17 TDs.
500 receiving, 2 tutties there. Look at that, man. He's going to have 20 total
1,400 plus, what'd you say, 500?
500.
Almost 2,000 all-purpose yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
He got a fourth of them against Mississippi State.
Yeah. He ran for days.
He just kept running.
Speaking of, let's go through. We got 2 championship games.
Right.
So UNLV at Boise State. Barry Odom went 10-2 at UNLV. Boise State always wins. They went 11-1.
Right.
That game, they're not doing them at neutral site, which is smart at that level. You need people to be there, so you have to play at the higher seed.
Yeah.
So UNLV, tough. We'll have to go to Boise, okay? That's
the loss.
probably it's a 3.5 point spread.
Is that it? Okay.
I mean, Odom.
Dang, Barry Odom.
Hey, have you got the audio I sent you? Let's wrap it up with that. Okay, Tulane at Army is the American Athletic Championship. God, how cold is it going to be in West Point, New York this weekend? Goodness gravy. Yay. Hell, I thought it was cold this morning. Big 12 is Iowa State at Arizona State. Again, Dilly is the coach at Arizona State. Y'all saw him earlier this year when Mississippi State went out there. Georgia and Texas. Now, that could be, I'm interested. Texas is -2.5. That's in Atlanta. You already know that. Penn State and Oregon, because Ohio State blanked the bed. That's in Indianapolis. And that's a 3.5 point. Oregon laying 3.5. Let me back this up. In the SEC game, Texas is laying 2.5. Okay? My bad. And then Clemson, SMU in Charlotte. Lugan Bill mentioned he's working that. Clemson, SMU in Charlotte. SMU laying 2.5. Clemson is not the favorite, even though they recruit much higher. Okay. What Barry Odom was thrown into the fire in 30 seconds as the Missouri head coach because Gary Pinkwell got cancer. And then it didn't work, but he won some games. He did not. I mean, he was like 500. He was like 6-6. And okay. Then he goes to Arkansas as a DC, did a great job there. Now he's at UNLV. This is Barry Odom after clinching a game in the Mountain West Championship as the UNLV head coach.
You never know the ups and the downs on what happens, okay, and how you react to them, how you respond to them. 5 years ago today, I was fired at the University of Missouri, okay? Wow. And I'll never forget that. You learn from your lessons. You learn from your opportunities. You pick yourself up. You dust yourself off, and you go create more. And then you have got an opportunity to sit here with 2 great players, and something I'm very, very thankful for. And it'll be a heck of a week. And Rebel Nation should be really excited about what this team does every single day. And we'll go back to work and be ready to go to Boise and play our best game.
Okay. So he almost lost it there. Got emotional. They're 10-2 at UNLV. They don't ever win. They're in the Mountain West Championship against Boise. Pretty cool. If you saw it, you can find it. If you see it, his daughter's in his lap. Cute as can be. He's got both the players he's referencing on each side of him.
Right.
And he was fired like many coaches, Belichick, Pete Carroll. I mean, there's a long list, right, that come back and prove to be just I mean, look what Manny Diaz did this year at Duke.
Oh.
I mean, he was brought in by the AD at Miami and fired.
Right.
Look at what Lane Kiffin's done at Ole Miss. On the tarmac in Los Angeles, on the way back from getting embarrassed by Arizona State, I think, or Arizona, they fired him. Like, he had to find a way home from, I think this was pre-Uber. They fired him. He was embarrassed. Then he went to Bama and Florida Atlantic, and now he's doing amazing things at Ole Miss. It happens. It does. And Barry Odom was fired 5 years ago from last Friday, I guess, when they won. Same day as Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech, I think. And look, isn't that cool, y'all? Like, if you keep going, you get better, you learn all the corny stuff. Look where he is now. He's going to take he may be the next head coach at North Carolina.
Sure.
I don't know if you take Central Florida, but it's a good job.
Man.
You know, Orlando is amazing. Players everywhere. You're in the Big 12 now.
That's right.
I think even though you're a commuter and transient school, you've got enough alums. Because, again, it just takes
70,000 kids.
Just takes 10 to 30 dudes that go, I want to win. Like Mississippi State's going to have to find, and their alums need to be they're more of a passive, sit on their hands, not be as vocal. It takes pressure on institutions and businesses for people to get it right. But back to Barry Odom, Dan Mullen, North Carolina maybe. John Summerall, we'll see what happens. He wants the Kentucky job, but they owe Stoops a fortune. Stoops didn't go anywhere this year. Now, by next year, if he doesn't get it right, say that thing drops to like $35 million, which is still a crazy amount of money.
They'll find it.
You know, John Summerall is a Kentucky alum. He's at Tulane. He's winning big. I just told you they're playing Army in the American Athletic Championship up in West Point, New York this week. Tulane's they're the favorite, laying 4. Of course, I wouldn't want any of Jeff Monken and Army at West Point running the wishbone trip. Goodness. You know, those Army kids are tough as you know what. I don't know.
You think they can do more push-ups than me?
Only a couple.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
I mean, I know you were doing push-ups all weekend.
That's all I knew. That's all I still know.
Did you put that bed together?
That would require physical activity.
So it's just in the box?
No, I took it out of the box. I wanted to look at it.
Okay.
It's pretty.
Okay.
It's going to look good.
For our listeners, I gave, Wendy technically gave Jackson a bed. Hey, Dilly, Kenny Dillingham, who you know loves to slam fireball and party.
No doubt.
He's only 34 years old.
Is he really?
He's 1 year older than you.
That's crazy.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening to the show. Steve Robertson on Coleman Hutzler is on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds. Don't forget about the blue plates and breakfast biscuits at Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in Gluckstadt, and Fleetway Market and the Market Cafe in, not Market, but Fleetway Market in Clinton and 22 other locations. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Podcast is going to be loaded up.